welcome to Stitches and Sundries. This is a podcast about cross stitch and stitchy goodness. And I'm back. I was gone for a little bit, which I'll talk about in a minute. But for everybody that is joining me back, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with me and seeing what I've been working on in the chaos. And for everybody that is just discovering me, hello! I feel like every time I need to take a bit of a break, like I get YouTube is like, oh, she's back, here, let me show you to more people. So maybe I should do this more often. Just have a chaotic life. No, I don't like that. So yeah, I've been gone for a little while. I think 6 weeks, which was not my intention. I intended to be back. I intended it to be a little bit longer between episodes, but not this long. And I'm usually like a stickler for a schedule, but it's just been so chaotic, and not just like chaotic life, but like emotionally, not emotionally, like just mentally draining, just like a lot of mental work. And I think I was just like one extra project that I cannot do, and it just got backburnered and then backburnered again, and that's not good. So I am back, and I'm hoping to be back on a more normal schedule, and I have lots to show for that time, so that's good. At least there's that. Let me think here. I have no idea what episode it is. 50 something. I've been doing this a while. I feel like I've been so consistent, so I'm a little like bummed at myself for needing to take that. I act like it's like I needed time for myself. It wasn't really. I just kind of like couldn't get my shit together, and that happens. We all go through that. So, yeah. So I have some stitchy progress. In that month, it feels like nothing happened, and yet, like, it was so busy. But yeah, no real major, like, life updates. Still going to PT. That's been the biggest strain on things is I had surgery back in November, and I was off at that time. And since then, I've had to do PT twice a week, and it is just brutal. And I'm so tired of it. And I'm not, and insurance is not approving as many sessions as I feel I need. So I'm about done with PT, which is good because it's exhausting. But at the same time, I don't feel like I've made the improvements I want to make, which is exhausting. So, but I am like ready to step away from PT. But, so that has been like a big fun event in my life twice a week. And just work stuff and life stuff. And I don't want to deal with that stuff. I would rather be stitching, as I think we all would. So let's talk about cross stitch and stitching and finishes, because I have been busy myself, but also I've gotten some stuff done. Oh, let me show you. All right, so I had 2 projects that have been held. They've been finished. They've been in my like finishes, but they have not been fully finished because I wanted them finished a certain way, and I wanted them finished as decorative pillows. And I can't sew. And my sister can sew, but she's never done pillows. And she was like, I can try. But she was like worried about messing up and ruining something that I'd worked on. And I was worried about them because everything I make is my baby. And so it just kind of kept getting like, we'll get to it when I feel more confident, blah, blah. And so finally I just thought, I buy my cross stitch stuff, like a lot of my thread, my floss, from a quilt shop. They finish quilts. They can probably finish a pillow. I just stopped in and asked, and they're like, yeah, absolutely, we totally do that. Bring us the stuff you want to do, and let's talk about it. And so I did. And so now I have 2 projects fully finished that have been sitting on my back shelf, one for 2 years. Apologize. I also had a cold. I probably sound like I still have a cold, and I cannot get rid of this cough. So I'm gonna cough, and I'm sorry about that. But I'm also not smart enough to edit out all my ums and uhs, so I'm definitely not smart enough to edit out my coughs. Sorry. So let me show you the 2 that I have fully finished. So this is my oldest finish that I had not fully done. And it is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird Designs. And I'm so happy! So I had this finished as a like pin pillow, or it's a little bigger. I think originally it was supposed to be finished like right up to the edge of this border in the like in her finish. But I had this awesome coffee stain that I got on there, and I wanted that to show off. So it's just a little decorative like display pillow. It's perfect for Halloween. The back is covered in cat hair, but it's like this is the fabric choice. The back's kind of like a black marble. It perfectly complements the fabric and the color choice of the threads. This was awesome. This is exactly how I wanted it finished. And she just like, bam, got it. She's like, let's pick a backing fabric. It's like, I want the piping around the edge. She's like, done, no problem. And yeah, they finish this polyfill stuffed, but so it's a little lumpily bumpily, but I actually love that because it feels like an old like a grain sack or something. Like it feels old, and I love that. I am not super into like primitive decor. God damn the cat hair. That's you fat lump. There's a fat lump laying right over there. I'm not that into primitive decor, but this feels like there is a line that primitive crosses where it starts looking spooky. And obviously with the house and the moon and everything, this is meant to cross that line, and it does so perfectly, and I just love this. I believe I will be entering this into the county fair this year under holiday decor. They only have 2 cross stitch categories, which is like cross stitch, like counted cross stitch, maybe cross stitch homewares. Might not even be, it might just be homewares where you can put like tablecloths and things like that. And then like the holiday decor. So I think I'm going to enter this in the holiday decor. And yeah, I hope it does well, because this is all custom dyed by me with coffee and tea. This is all hand stitched, and then it is, the only thing I worry about is that I did not finish it as the pillow, but I don't think that's a standard. Like, you're entering it for the cross stitch, and I think that is special. So I just love this. I love the whole thing. I'm so happy to have that done. And now it's on display in my podcast room, which I'm not in right now because I recently had a shelf fall down and I haven't gotten it back up, and it's a wreck in there, and it's cold. So I'm up here where it's warm and where there are fat lumps running around beneath my feet, aka my cat Dusty, who you've all seen. All right, so that's one. Super happy to have that done. Love it. And I got this finished at my local quilt shop, which is the 4 Seasons Stitchery. It's also where I buy a lot of my cross-stitching floss and like some supplies. They have Q-snaps and stuff. The second one is also finished by them as a pillow, but this one's a little bigger and more elaborate. And this is my mandala. This I finished in 2022 and had carried over. And look how pretty that is. I'm trying to, my camera does not focus. But it's so very pretty. Finished it in this really pretty blue fabric with a dark blue background. It's got the little pillow form in there, which they supplied for me, which is so nice. And this is completely done, and I love it. This is by KHANNAandILAN on Etsy. They do a lot of these symmetrical mandalas. I did this one on 28 count over 1/1 on 28 count, and I love this sucker. It was a beast, but now I want to do about 30 more mandalas. So mandalas. And yeah, I'm so happy with how that turned out. The blue of the fabric, the blue here, the purple, feels very complementary. Loving it. And I think I might try and enter this in the homewares, just because of the tiny ass, perfectly symmetrical stitching. I feel like that might do well. So yeah, so this one is one I want to enter as well. Yeah. So those were 2 big finishes. They'd been on my thing. I wanted them done. I knew how I wanted them done. I just didn't have the skill to do it myself. And so I am very happy to have those complete. My next fully finished. So these are ones I had already finished. You've seen them finished, but I just have fully finished them now. This one is Hellraiser by me and the Witchy Stitcher. And I'm trying not to show you my entire setup. Oh my gosh, you can see my messy bed. We'll go like that. Sure, you can see my stuff laying down there. Man, that is so reflective. Can I pull it up closer? Nope. Alright, I don't know how to get this without the glass being like the most reflective thing on earth. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alright, so this is Hellraiser. It was made by me as a compliment to the Witchy Stitcher's Candyman pattern. Greenbrook Candyman pattern, and it is so it is very similar. It's meant to be a sister piece, and I have fully finished it in this gold frame, which matches the Candyman frame. And these are done. They're going up on the wall. I have the place already picked out for them. Yeah, very happy. Sarah painted this frame up for me, and she did a fantastic job. I couldn't have asked for anything better. The two frames look sisterly. They look like, I think they might even be identical, and we just painted them identical as well. Yeah. So I will probably put a picture of that up on my Instagram with both of them side by side. I need to get back into posting on Instagram. I have pictures. I just have been shit about posting. So again, one of those things of like, I'm making the goal for myself to get back into regularly scheduled, like thoughtful Instagram and podcasting, because they're things I enjoy. Like, it's so dumb when you get busy and you drop the stuff that makes you happy. It's like, why do you keep doing this bizarre crap that's making you miserable? It's probably because it's like a job and it's like not something you can just drop, but you know, it's not fair. Yeah, so that is my third fully finished. And then I have one more, but it is also a new start. So there's a little cat in the hallway, just dying. This is what happens when I do anything up here. I don't know if that's even picking up on the microphone, but I can hear. So back at right at the end of February, a girl I work with came to me and it was like, we are doing a silent auction for charity as part of every quarter. We do some sort of fundraiser just internally as a way to give back to the community and all this stuff. So we are doing a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And the idea for this fundraiser this quarter was to do a silent auction. And so she was just asking for donations. And she asked if I would stitch something. And I was like, sure, absolutely. Or she asked if I would donate a cross stitch. And I was like, sure, absolutely. And then I realized she was asking me to like donate something I had already stitched. And I was like, no, those are mine. Or they've already been given away. Like, those are mine. I stitched them because I liked them and I want to have them. So I was like, okay, I've got to stitch something. And I want it to be something that I will enjoy stitching so I won't get miserable, but that I don't want in the end. Which is a funny thing to try and look for. And I settled on this. So this is Scandinavian Flowers by, I think it's Easy Cross Stitch Patterns CA. Easy Stitch Pattern CA on Etsy. And I looked everywhere to make sure, because that sounds like such a sketchy name. I looked everywhere to see if these were, you know, Etsy, you never know with people taking a design and just like becoming a warehouse of designs that they do not own. I couldn't find that. So it seems like it was their pattern. If not, I am sad that happened, but it was the pattern I thought would be great. So it is Scandinavian Flowers, and they have a series. They've got 3 of these, and they have them in black and white, which was very cool. But they're very folk flowers, and we have a large German community around here. And you see those that similar style folk flower. And so I thought that will be something that is both modern, because I didn't want to do something that's like super primitive and like, this is not my style. It's not what I want to do. So it's kind of modern, but it has a lot of traditionalism to it that people, you know, around here might appreciate, and I think it'll do well. So that's the one I chose, and I stitched it and finished it in the time here because I needed it done by March 14th. So I just stitched on it straight through. So I don't have it because I already gave it to her for the donation. And here is how it ended up. So maybe I'll put a big picture up because it's really beautiful. It ended up very lovely. At the end, I really liked it and thought I have no reason to keep this, but I stitched it and I liked it, so I might want to keep it. And so I hope it does well. I will know, I think the auction is next week, so we'll see how it does. And that'll be a fun, interesting thing too, just to see how it ends up. Originally, I was planning, I'll put a picture back up here, for the frame to be blue. I have some of these like display frames that were my grandmother's. They're like weird frames, but they're plastic. And when we went to paint them blue, it just was not, they were not accepting the paint in any way. So I ended up going with a wooden one, and I just happened to have that yellow wooden one. So it looks really nice. I built my table here. I've got a weird setup, but downstairs, I feel like I look down a lot and you guys get to see the lovely top of my head, which is lovely, but not great. So I'm like got a different setup here now. I've got like stuff around me. So yeah, so that one has been fully stitched, fully finished, and is gone. But it got me started on a bit of a monogamous march. So because I had just like straight up couldn't take a break, had to stitch on that to get it done in time, it started me on a monogamous march kind of vibe. So I just stuck with it. So I'm doing monogamous march now, and I'll show you what I'm working on, but I've got some stuff I did before then. A little bit, not a lot. So yeah, those are my finishes. Really pleased with all of them. Love what I've got. Love trying new finishing types like the pillows. I'm gonna definitely do more of that in the future. So yeah, doing good. All right. What else have I stitched on? All right, what have I got here? And some of this I'll remember because I tried to check my notes from the last episode. I'll remember kind of where I left off, and some of these I definitely won't. So, excuse me. I need a cup of tea. I'm just sitting in the kitchen. Doing great. So this one is I Want to Believe by, I believe it's Happy Little Mouse. Let me double check. Not in this book. Nope, not Happy Little Mouse. I'm sorry, Alliton Embroidery. I Want to Believe by Alliton Embroidery. There it is. And here is where I was last time. And here is where I am today in my black cat hair covered here's where I am. So it can be a little hard to see, but all of this over here is a dark blue navy color that has been stitched in. This tree has been stitched in. Finished up the mountain, got more of this pink line of sunset color, started to fill in here and started down. There is the edge of my circle. The reason I stitched out this way was to find the edge of my circle and make sure I had enough for finishing. It's barely enough for finishing, but I can make it work. So, very pleased with that. This is a fun stitch. I am thinking more about project balance, having a variety of projects that work up a little differently so that you can switch back and forth and feel like you're not overwhelmed. And this is definitely part of that. This is just potato chip. Just go. Big swaths of color. You know, just kind of like keep track of the edge and you can just keep filling in. But there's enough going on that it's not just boring. I'm filling black for days. So yeah. Coming along very nicely. I'm enjoying it. This was, I think, a backup piece one week, so it probably only has like 3 evenings worth of stitching on it. Yeah, doing good on that one. Next up is, oh, this is the thing that it was the backup to. This is the CryptoNaturalist sampler by Screaming Heart Designs. And I love this piece so much. And this is where I was last time. And this is where I am today. And I feel like I made such progress. So here is where I am today. So as you can see, I've completely finished this top. I think last time I had gotten like flesh done. So all that wording is done. Came down here, started down on the side here. Came in, finished this up. I'm going to go across, finish another triangle up. There's another one right there. And then instead of working like all the way down the side, which is how I've been doing it, and this border gets tedious, I'm just going to work like section by section, like whatever can fit right here, I'm going to do. And then I'm going to scroll up and then do whatever can fit right there and scroll up. Just to keep it not from being skull star, skull star, skull star. And they're thick. These are big skull, not big, but they're just chunky. They're chunky and they're boring. So yeah. This is a project I cannot wait to have finished. It is going in my office. People know at my work that I cross stitch in like a kind of abstract way. I want my office to be covered in cross stitch. Not for any particular, just because I love it. And this is such a perfect, I feel like this is so perfect for what I do. So yeah, very pleased with my progress there. Loving stitching in this scroll frame. I talked about it a little bit last time. Yeah, I didn't talk about either of these things. I'm stitching this on 28 count Crystal Highlands by Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC, except for the color of my flower is Weeks Dye Works Collards. Yeah, loving that. The color of my like accent green color, which goes so well with this green Crystal Highlands. So yeah. And then this one I am stitching on 28 count black cashel linen. That is just from my local store. And I'm using the call for DMC. There we go. I did say. Keep moving stuff out of the way. Next, I have... This one is Stegosaurus Skeleton by Happy Little Mouse. This one is by Happy Little Mouse. I'm doing this as part of a stitch along with my awesome lady friend groups. And I'm beating them. Ladies, I'm winning, just so you know. No, it's not a competition. But we all picked a different one out of a set of 6 that Happy Little Mouse offers. So I'm doing the Stegosaurus. This is where I was last time. My friend Ruth is doing the pterodactyl. Mary is doing the Brachiosaurus. And my friend and former co-host Devin is doing the raptor. And they're really cool. They're all really cool. So this is where I'm at now. I have no freaking clue. I'm going to look in editing where I was last time. I have no clue where I was last time. I feel like I got a lot of plant done. I feel like this pink wasn't here before. Like maybe this green plant and this pink plant. Maybe. No clue. But yeah, it's coming along. The skeleton's almost done. Sort of. Got those plates on the back. That's all I've got left for skeleton. So yeah, coming along. Looking really nice. this is also another one. Very enjoyable stitch. So I have currently, excuse me, two, I want to call them like bugger stitches, but like just like slightly more fiddly stitches. I have my full coverage piece and I have the schoolhouse sampler. And they're both like a different type of satisfying to stitch on, but they're both a little fiddly. Whereas, and then I have the CryptoNaturalist sampler that I just showed, and just, it's a little fiddly to stitch on, just a little more tedious to stitch on with that big border. And so I want to contrast those stitches that are a little more, they just require more thought. They require you to be a little more present when you're stitching them, with stuff like this that is just mindless. It's just go, be colorful, do big stitches on big fabric. This is 14 count Aida. It makes me happy to work on 14 count Aida. And it's colorful and it's easy. And it's just like, I want to contrast. I think that's why I feel like I'm not making as much progress. Last year was just like, I felt like I made no progress. I think it's because I picked a lot of stitches that just were mentally very taxing. Not very taxing, but mentally more taxing. And so I didn't have the output. Just like I would be worn down and need breaks or, you know, things. Whereas I feel like it wasn't necessarily I needed breaks. I just needed different types of projects. So analyzing the psychology of how we craft, that's what I'm here to do, I guess. I don't know. It just feels very, you know, it feels very good to transition to this sucker. So basically I want to make these types of projects. This, I want to believe, as backups so that you can always, not just as backups, but like take a week off, work on this. Don't constantly be working on a more mindful stitch. Like give your brain a break and enjoy stitching, like not just for the finished product. Which I'm bad at because I'm a finished product person. I like my finishes. So yeah, that one is coming along. Loving it. Really enjoying it. But it has also been on the back burner because once I'm bumping the camera all around. Once I finished the Scandinavian flowers, I was like, well, I am on a real kick here. And having the deadline made me really work to keep a consistent schedule. I was like, let's keep it up. Let's just keep this momentum going. And let's do monogamous March. So just pick up another project and work only on that project. And I picked this one. This is Make Today Magical. It's a Sal by Tiny Modernist. This is part one. Part 2 is not out yet. And it is, it got a bit of a saga behind it for me. Not a saga, like it's just a little story. And it is April 1st, she's putting out part 2. A little bit of a deadline, perfect like thing to like really focus on. Super happy. So, last time I showed this is where I was. And I had this whole story about how I love this fabric that it's stitched on. And I'm just going to make it work. I couldn't make it work. I tried. And I couldn't make it work. So, I unpicked it all. Saved the fabric because it's gorgeous fabric. I'm totally going to use it. Pissed that I cut it. And since I had no other options that I liked, I bought more fabric. Even though I told myself, absolutely, do not buy more fabric. Do not buy more. You have tons of fabric. Do not buy more. I bought more. So I went on Rogue Stitching was having a 20% off sale at their Stashtopia site, which is their like overstock stuff. And I just picked 3. I was like, something in here has to work. And I picked 3. And I chose out of that this really beautiful I'm gonna hold it up like this so you can't see. This is Pansy by Picture This Plus. It is an 18 count Aida, and it is a light purple splotched, like really lovely. I chose it, and I didn't cut it. I started stitching on it, found a spot to start stitching on, made sure that all the colors were legible, did all the problem spots. Because, I'm gonna put the picture up here again. So I talked about on the last episode I was here, but it was a million years ago, the script, the Make and Magical, was not showing up. The thin white lettering on my very light fabric just wasn't showing up. But I planned on replacing that. I was like, I'll do a substitution. That's okay. That's no big deal. And I stitched a little Today banner in there in the middle, and that looked okay. That looked fine. I was like, okay, this is working. And then I tried to stitch this little yellow flower, and it was not just like hard to see, it was invisible. It just went away. You could not find that flower. And I was like, okay, this is more than just a script issue. Let's rethink. Unpicked the whole thing, ordered new fabric, picked this, and was like, let's try and get this done before part 2 releases. So, you'll notice you can read everything. So, this is my progress on part 1 of the Make Today Magical Sal, and I checked all the spots, all the problem spots, so you can totally read the script. You can see the flowers. Everything looks good. The yellow and the purple go so beautifully together. This is what I wanted it to look like. And so I'm glad I finally got there. I'm sad I had to buy more fabric. I'm not that sad. Not that sad at all. But I am really pleased with how this is coming out. So right now I'm about 60% done. And so I totally think I've set myself the goal of 300 stitches a night, which is it can be a difficult goal. I stay up late to get it done sometimes, but it's so worth it. It feels so good to just like bang out progress. So 300 stitches a night on this, and I will be just done. I think I'll have like 3 days of reprieve. So I did find last night a small mistake that I will fix tonight, in that MAG is down a stitch, then ICAL. They just dropped a stitch. I can't apparently put letters on a line, but that is very small. So I have done such a good job on this moon, which I am like, whoo boy, just straight up mass stitching. I mean, I've done it other places. I'm being so careful to make sure my stitches lay right, and it's like a nice piece there. Loving the little crystals down at the bottom. Yeah, this is coming along really great, and it looks so good on this fabric. And this is not a fabric I would normally have chosen for myself. This light purple is like not at all in my wheelhouse, but I'm actually glad that I'm doing something different and outside my wheelhouse. So yeah, this is coming along really lovely. Enjoying it. This is also another like potato chip stitch. All you got to keep track of is where the edge of the moon is. And you just go like a typewriter. Yeah. Just find the edge of the moon. Yeah. Loving this. Loving it, loving it. She's got another Sal out. Like a spring crystal ball, something like that. Really prolific designer. One of my favorites as well. So yes, making really great progress on all these things. I'm going to continue Monogamous March, finishing this up, and then I will go back into my weekly rotations. Hopefully get some more done on Colossal Octopus, which I am now. I feel like I'm missing a little bit. I also have some gift stitches coming up. A friend of mine announced her wedding, or not a friend of mine, my cousin announced her wedding, and I want to do her a gift stitch for her bridal shower. So that is going to be coming up. I might have to back burner some things to get that done. And yeah, a couple gift stitches that I want to get done for this year. Okay, I'm back. I ran to get some stuff. I don't know where I'm going to put this cut, but I'm going to stick a cut in there. But I also made myself a cup of tea, so I didn't cough quite so much because I was getting really coffee. So I wanted to show, I completely forgot, but since I decided to get up and get something else and walk away, I'm so organized all the time. I decided to pick this up. So this is, I think my second cross stitch that I ever finished. I do not even know who it's by. I didn't write anything down about it. I picked cross stitch back up right during the pandemic and had finished some, previously I'd finished a little kit from Michaels, but this is the piece that I picked up. And I've had it done forever. Like, I've had it done since that took what, 3 days? Maybe a day to completely finish. But I'd had it as a little scrap. I thought maybe I'd use it on like a bag or just something little. Wasn't really dedicated to finding a spot for it when it happened to happen. And then I was finishing some stuff and thought this would look really cute on my bug wall. It's really cute. So I finished it up, and originally I was going to finish it catty corner like the moth that I did not too long ago, and it would be on that same wall. And it wasn't quite a big enough piece to do that. You need more fabric to do it catty corner. You need like way more horizontal fabric than I had. So I finished it this way. I added this really pretty burlap and lace that complements the Aida it's stitched on, and just happened to have this frame, and it looks so good. It is up for spring decor right now, and it's one of my favorite pieces I've finished in a while. Like, other than the pillows, just because they're different, but I've known what those pillows were going to look like for a really long time. This was just a really big chance to be creative and do something different. And yeah, I love this thing. So very happy with that piece. I definitely want to do more layering and being thoughtful about my finishes. So that's part of that. So that's fun. So let's talk, before I cut, wherever I decide to cut, I was going to talk about haul. That's all my cross stitch. So I'm going to talk about haul, another project I've been working on, and just some fun stuff now. Everything's fun though. So a while back, I mentioned Audrey at StitchWitch42 on Instagram makes these floss books. So finally got my hands on one. And here's a floss book from Audrey. These are super awesome. Look how beautiful that is. Look at that gold glitter. So pretty. Bit of paper is coming up there. Inside, she puts a library card so you can track your project that you're working on. And then 10 floss bags. Back cover. Look how cute this is. So I have been wanting to make some of these. And so I was so glad to get a hold of her. And she also says that on her YouTube channel, which I will link below as well, she at some point has done a tutorial on these. So you have to look for it, but she has done a tutorial on these. And they're just the best thing for organizing your floss. So I have started them. So let me show you my first. This is my first, so it's obviously not my best, but I am super pleased with it. So this is my first one. This is currently holding all my overdyed floss, like my standard overdyed week sky works and stuff that you can just buy in store. And I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So I have this awesome bag that from somewhere I bought, and it has all these vintage ads on it. So this one is for the Curtis Brothers Undertakers, Coffins and Caskets. How awesome is that? And then Day Books, Journals, and Ledgers is under there. Very cute. And then on the back here, I used another piece of that bag. And it says, wanted, steady woman, a thorough good cook. And it has like specifications for the steady woman they want. And I love that. I used just a piece of ribbon, a little bit of Velcro to hold it closed because it's packed. It's hefty. And then inside I had this awesome trade card. And you can see I Mod Podged everything thinking that would fix it. It really didn't help, and I will not do that again. But I loved this piece so much, this old trade card for the Great German Remedy, that I needed to keep it. And then just a really awesome like forest picture on the back. Yeah, and this is now holding, I have organized all my floss. I used washi tape, whereas I think Audrey uses an index card, because when you punch through the bag, you can very easily start to tear the plastic. The plastic, punching through the bag is the problem. But I also wanted them to be openable. I didn't want to use the hole they put, because I wanted it to be openable constantly. So I went through, organized all my specialty flosses, made the tags, got them all organized. Very, very pleased with that. So I want to do that for, I'm going to use Audrey's, probably for the Make Today Magical project. So when a project is big and has extra skeins, I'm going to use a floss book for that. But also I have lots of like categories of floss. I think as we get further into this project, I was talking to a friend the other day, or a woman the other day, that every hobby has layers. You think, I'm going to pick up this kit from Michael's. That's layer 1. Layer 2 is, well, I gotta buy some counted cross stitch patterns. I can do this myself. It's layer 2. Well, there's all this specialty floss and specialty fabric. That's layer 3. I need all the fabric. I need all the floss. Is it custom? Is it one of a kind? I need it. You're down the rabbit hole. You're gone forever. I need it. So I have this collection of overdyed flosses. I have, I'll show why I have so many silk flosses. And then I have one of a kind things that came in boxes that you're never going to find them again. They might be, they might be different, but they're just like completely, you're not going to find them. And so that I'm going to make a floss book for each of those. And eventually I would like to have my DMC done. Like, this is so much better than right now, all my floss is on drops and they hang. Cats try and get them. When kids come over, they tug if they see them. So I have to keep them out of sight, which means they get tangled. This is the way to go. I love this because I hate bobbins. I hate bobbins. I know bobbinating solves all these problems. I do not like the bobbinatings. I just don't like it. It makes my thread all kinky. I don't like it. So this is my solution. I love this solution. And it's fun to figure out what goes where to make the book look cool. So I also have my sister, my wonderful sister Sarah, got me a couple of stitch boxes for Christmas from Stitchy Box. And they do countdown boxes, which means you get the box and they are like 30 individually wrapped items for you to open like an advent calendar every day. And so she ordered me 2 for Christmas. And they've just started arriving. I have gotten, let me think here. I've gotten 2 boxes from Starlight Stitchery. I have gotten an Autumn Lane box, which I do want to do another Autumn Lane box. They were very good. And I have done a Witchy Stitcher box. And now I've done Mood from Innocent Bones boxes, which are like little full kit boxes, and which I have one of those as well today. And now I have done the stitchy box. I'm also going to try Be Stitch Me. I have one ordered from Be Stitch Me, and I have one I recently got accepted to Black Needle Society. So I like doing these boxes. I love this part of things. I would not recommend Stitchy Box. And I'll talk a little bit more about why. Let me pull up some of the things and I can show you some of the things I have gotten in these boxes. So they're okay curated, I think. So like I got these awesome little scissors. Love this. This was an excellent piece. Got a little needle minder. It's a little penguin. One of them was winter themed, so I got this little penguin's needle minder. So they are okay curated. Little teapot charm. There we go. A little teapot charm for like a scissor fob, or hell, I'd wear it as a necklace. Really cute. And the one thing I will say is they have, they specialize, I believe, in silk flosses. Beautiful silk flosses. The Flower Silk by Stitchy Box is one you'll get a lot of in your box. Great. Love them. They do floss box, just the floss. And that is what I would recommend. If you really love that, they have been incredibly incommunicative about boxes that were, so originally she ordered a box that was past the pre-sale, past everything. You were paying fully, and it was supposed to ship at near the end of the year. So she assumed in time for Christmas. It did not ship until February. And she got almost no communication about that. She got one thing saying it was delayed. Then they said it shipped, but they had just created the label, which I think should be illegal. They just created the label, and it didn't actually start moving until like 3 weeks later. Like, ridiculous amounts of time. And she was trying to find out what was going on and was getting no good communication about that. Which, I get it. We're all living in the same supply chain world. Like, totally. Just tell us. Just communicate that. These were supposed to be Christmas gifts. Just to have something to be able to say to the person you're trying. Not that I'm like, oh God, where are my gifts, you horrible sister of mine. But she wanted to say something to me. You'd say, these are on their way, they're coming, blah, blah, blah. So that part was not a great experience. And then two, a lot of the 30 little packages, they're small packages, so like a strand of floss. Look how pretty. I mean, these flosses are beautiful. Can't wait to do something with them. Gonna do, I mean, just lovely. Just lovely. I definitely want to do something. This one is Stitchy Silk by Stitchbox. Limited edition French spun silk. Look how lovely. I mean, beautiful colors, beautiful dye lots. Love the variegation on some of these. Like, that's just lovely. But I would say only about 20 of them were curated. 10 of them were filler of the 30. A tiny swatch of fabric that they're like, use it for finishing. It's like this big girl. Like, yeah, I could finish the back of an ornament. That's not, that's not an item. A little piece of cord. Use it for finishing. Yeah, I could make a loop for an ornament. Like, I can find that stuff. That's not what I go to a specialty, curated box for. And then another 10 are fully beads. Fully beads. if you are looking, if you are a person that loves adding beads and does a lot of bead work, maybe that's okay for you. Like, unless the project calls for beads, I'm not gonna like start just adding beads. So they're beautiful. They're lovely colors. They seem like quality. They're like seed beads. They seem like quality. But they also seem like this is special. This is something I'm looking for. A cute pair of scissors, a needle minder. They also, there's another good one. This is a little snowflake charm. Okay, a little snowflake charm. Totally. And this is across 2 boxes, by the way. See if I can get it out here. Little charm with a tree, and the back says, "Not all who wander are lost." Super cute. More like a jewelry thing, but I can see a way to use that in my cross stitch. Like, that's an embellishment. Totally on board with. Tons of beads. Like I said, 10 items that are like, I'm not even positive how to keep this, like what to do with this thing. One box had no fabric with it. One box did have one piece of like an 8.5 by 11 piece of fabric in it. That was really pretty. So, not a balanced mix of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you get some really good items, but you get a lot of filler too. So now I have some really beautiful floss that I totally want to use. I'm so happy with that. As a gift, it was incredibly thoughtful. It is, you know, something I enjoyed doing. The opening of each day is really fun. That's a fun idea. I just don't think it's executed as nicely as other boxes. And so if you're thinking, her boxes are, I think her most expensive boxes are $120. I think most of her boxes run around like $80. That is a little on the cheaper side versus Starlight Stitchery, I think, is like $120, $130 for a box. She got me 2 of these. I would just have one other one that feels more complete, more thoughtful, more on theme. That's the other thing. The 2 themes were Deep Woods and Winter Holiday. Kind of on theme. They were kind of on those tracks of things. So I've had boxes that are more on theme, better quality, higher variety of items, a lot more useful items, either both as for stitching purposes themselves, things like fabric, scissors, measuring tapes, a gauge swatch thing, a clear thing that helps you determine the gauge of your fabric, like 28 count, 32 count, blah blah, because it's a little swatch. Super useful tool. I use it all the time. Thread organizers, thread drop organizers, just really pretty custom quality items. I don't feel that with this as much. So that's my honest review of Stitchy Box. They're very nice. If you're looking for a more low price point, maybe that's what you're looking for. Or if you love floss and beading, I would just buy their floss box. Their flosses are very nice. They just do a mystery floss box, or that's what you're engaging in, is their floss. Go for that. So yeah, they're all in this little bag because, and there are, like, I didn't pull every item because, like I said, some of it was like fabric and string. It's in a drawer somewhere. I'm not pulling that back out. But I tried to get a representative sample of some of the things you could get in those boxes. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm a clutter bug and I've made no room for myself. All right, let's see here. I'm drinking tea from a box. I think this is from the Winter Magic box by Starlight Stitchery. I just happen to be drinking that tea. So, I mean, that's nice. So last thing I have is, this is the Mood box from Mood by Innocent Bones. And I just got this yesterday. I really thought I canceled this box. I thought I paused the subscription. I paused for 1 month. And it's a bi-monthly box. So I didn't quite notice it, like, until I saw the charge on my credit card and was like, not my plan. But now I'm kind of happy I got it because it's a really cute box. So the theme for this, she does bi-monthly boxes. The theme for this month was Moon. And it's pretty great. She did a great job. These are also really lovely little boxes. So a little satchel for just holding various items. I'm actually was originally going to use this as a dice bag, but now I think I have a tarot card deck. I think I'm going to put my tarot cards in that. Very lovely. Everything smells good in here because of 15 sticks of incense. Black opium incense. Smells amazing. Smells amazing. Which is quite lovely. And it came with a little incense burner. You can see the little hole there that you can put the incense stick down in. I'm actually just gonna probably stick that right up here on this wall because I think that is just a lovely little charm. And the hole does not seem quite big enough to hold anything. 2 journals. One is an intentions journal, and it's just blank, but it's quite lovely, very high quality paper. Feels quite nice. Very pretty. And then this one is a moon planner journal, and they were expecting you to plan for every moon for the next 6 years. So every new moon, every full moon, you kind of go through this intentions and illuminations phase, and you can rip it off. And I mean, it is thick. There's a lot of pages there. And a new moon and a full moon only occur once a month, so I mean that's gonna get you through a couple years. And very pretty design. Like, I really like the design on the edge there. And a lot of her stuff is custom made for this box. So, and then it comes with everything you'll need. So it's a full kit, hoop, needle, all the fun stuff, to do a pattern. And I believe, yeah, she only includes the pattern. So I'm going to put a picture in here of a finished. This is the Moon by Innocent Bones. Comes with the floss to complete it. Very pretty colors. Really loving this. And yeah, I'm totally going to do that one. Yeah, it's so pretty. Might even do it on the fabric she supplied this time. Very cute little bag, very cute little box. This one runs $35. It's a little higher now because she's out of the UK and the exchange rate and everything, but it runs about $35. This is a great kit. These are always fun. They always feel special. They always feel on theme and like creative. So if you're looking for just a little thing, the Mood boxes are perfect. I really enjoy them. Her designs are also really pretty and graphic and feel very, they remind me of like old tattoos. So I really love them. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's everything. I have had a good time away, but I'm ready for things to settle down and get back into being back on schedule and being back here doing this more regularly. So I hope, if you've been here for a while, I hope you stick around. If you're new here, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've had something interesting to say about something in all this yammering, and I hope to see you back here. Tell me down in the comments. I usually do a question. I used to do a question. tell me down in the comments if you did anything, if you did March Stitchy Madness, if you're planning to do Mania, if you're like, what are your stitchy challenges that you're working on right now? Because that's a lot of fun. Because I'm going to do Monogamous March and try and get caught up on some things. So yeah, tell me if you're doing any stitchy challenges this spring. All right. I will see you in 2 weeks. I'm going to get back on schedule. So I hope you have a wonderful time. Stay safe. Stay sane. Bye.